place? Oh, well. I don't know. This feels really well attended to me, so I think we're doing good.
It's not like teachers have anything else to be doing today.
I know. Me either. I know.
So you get to see all of them tomorrow?
Actually, not till the second.
Oh, okay.
We have conferences the next 3 days.
Oh, okay. That's a nice way.
It was really nice. I was so thankful.
And you guys just have ninth and new students tomorrow? Is that still okay?
Lets the other kids get established.
Yeah.
Ours come on, everybody else kind of.
Well, they can just sort of fall into ones. But 3 of my 5 classes are majority ninth graders.
Oh, okay. So you have most of your students tomorrow.
And I have like the super intense ninth graders.
Oh gosh, yes. So that's gonna be good. Great. Ready or not, here they come.
Smile on my face.
That's right. You right?
Until I make it.
That's what we do.
Yep.
I would say that's this time of year, but sometimes it feels like that's just all year.
No, it'll be a good job.
Yeah, good. Good, good. Hey, hey.
How are you? Good, how are you? I'm good. You surviving?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
is. It's fine, whenever.
All right. I would like to thank everybody for coming this afternoon. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the flag salute. Donna, could you lead us? Sure. All right. All right, I just want to make note that Jake is not going to be with us tonight, that he is away on business. But to start with, do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
We do not.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Back in the swing of it. I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is going to take us to public comment.
We do have public comment
We
tonight.
do have public comment.
So as a reminder, each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak, and there will be screens that will count down the time, and it changes colors, and there's a little ding when you get to 30 seconds. So first up tonight, we have Michelle Hammond. I can talk loud if I need to.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Hammond. I am a teacher at Ridgefield High School. I am here to speak to the proposed cell phone policy that you will be voting on this evening. I am in favor of the general off and away policy that is being proposed. While I was not a part of last year's book study, I know several people who did participate in it and know that all of the evidence points towards this being the best practice for our students. However, I fear that moving too quickly and aggressively on this policy could potentially result in a challenging rollout process that could not only negatively impact buy-in to the policy, but also negatively impact student learning at the high school level. I would like to specifically explain to you how the policy, as it has been presented to teachers, could negatively impact my students. One of the courses that I teach is Advanced Placement Human Geography. 96 freshmen and sophomores, about 7% of the school's population, will be taking the course this year. In order to participate in AP Human Geography and all other AP classes, students must create a College Board account. This not only allows students to take the test in May for possible college credit, but also provides them many resources throughout the year to help them with their studies. In AP Human Geography, students are required to use AP Classroom to review for and take their unit tests. Struggling students are directed to videos and questions to help them relearn difficult topics. It is an integral and necessary part of the curriculum. Ridgefield student email accounts are configured to not accept emails from outside of the district. Because of this, when my students set up their College Board account and sign up with AP Classroom, I have no choice but to ask them to use a personal email address so that they can complete the verification process for signing up and do things like resetting forgotten passwords. This means that anytime a student needs to access email related to the course, they must do so on their cell phones. Some students have two-factor authentication in place for their accounts. Sometimes students forget a password and need to get a reset code or something similar. Without their phones, students lose access to these learning opportunities until their phones are available to them. Unit tests take most, if not all, of a class period. Delays logging into the system could impact their ability to take the test on time. However, if we are able to establish systems that will allow students quick and easy access to the needed information, they can continue without any disruptions. I know that I am not the only teacher whose classroom practice will potentially be disrupted by implementation of this new cell phone policy. As I said earlier, I am in favor of the policy overall, but would like to request the implementation be done at a speed and in a manner that gives us the time and space necessary to work through these potential issues in ways that will not cause significant disruption to the student learning experience. Thank you.
Rochelle Simmons.
I have an update for the foundation. Just gonna pull it up. Okay, so the last time that we gave an update was in May, so we don't have a ton of grant activity, but we do have some information that might be interesting. So in June, we gave 4 teen driver scholarships, and in July, we gave 2. And we haven't received any new grant applications since our last update. All of our grant applications are open, and we keep them open all the time. The only reason we'd close them is if the funds were used, but even when we use all the funds that we have allocated for a particular grant, we usually shuffle them around so that we can fund requests. We purchased the certificated and classified employee of the year gifts that were given at convocation. We received a $7,500 grant from the Price Foundation. We used to give a Price Foundation scholarship and receive funds from the foundation, and it's been 6 years since we've received that, so we applied for it again, and we will be able to give 3 $2,500 scholarships in the spring to seniors who are pursuing post-high school vocational opportunities. We had our golf tournament last month, July 21st, and we raised approximately $17,000, which is great, but it is less than we hoped for and less than we raised last year, but we believe that it might just be the nature of fundraising right now, given things that are maybe broader context. And last, we received, or we will receive tonight, an unsolicited donation from REA, that's the teachers union, in the amount of $500. So that's exciting. That's all I've got.
And on behalf of the Ridgefield I'd like to present you check.
JL Thompson?
I'm not nearly as prepared as you were, so, because I didn't think this through, but I'm also a teacher in the district. I'm the transition teacher, and I'm talking to you today about the cell phone policy. I'm concerned that going to that step of the pouches is a little aggressive, and that we should start with the off and away. My students specifically need to use cell phones, especially if they're out on transition, if they're accessing personal email, which we can't do on any of the Chromebooks. So that directly impacts them. So I'm just concerned that this is just going a little quickly. Also, a question is, where's the money coming from to pay for this? So it seems like if we're in a deficit, why are we spending the money? That's it.
Sorry. My slides won't move. There we go. That's all we have. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right, thank you for the public comment tonight. Next, we will go into the superintendent's report.
Yeah, thank you. Lots of good things to share this evening. We have, something momentous happening tomorrow, which is that school's starting. So pretty excited, but wanted to give you just a recap of a few things as we're finishing up our summer. As you know, Mandy Evans runs our community education program, and I'm pretty sure that she doesn't sleep. So they ran over 47 camps over the summer. We served 1,721 students. And you can see some of the fun activities that kids got to take part in over this summer. We also had our convocation celebration last week that you just heard a little bit. So thank you to the foundation for supplying the gifts, purchasing the gifts for our employees of the year. We were excited. We got to recognize Perla Haug. She is in that picture on the right. She's the one not looking at the camera in the kind of brown dress there. So Perla won our classified employee of the year from last year, and she was in an intervention support paraeducator role at Southridge last year, but she was hired over the summer to be the lead secretary at Sunset Ridge. So she's in a new role and doing lots of learning, which is wonderful. And we also got to celebrate Jared Hunley, who is one of our CTE teachers at Ridgefield High School, as our certificated employee of the year. The other picture that's on the left, I just wanted to include this one. These are staff. These are folks who have been in Ridgefield for 25, 30, and 35 years. So just a big shout out to them. Congratulations for being here and really dedicating their whole careers to Ridgefield kids. We also, after our convocation celebration, we hosted our own conference, professional learning conference. So all of our certificated staff, teachers, school psychologists, counselors, the like, as well as our paraeducators and our registered behavior technicians were invited. We had 25 different sessions and 4 time slots, so staff got to select 4 sessions to attend of their choosing, which was great, and you can see some of the pictures here. Big shout out to our building administrators, our principals, assistant principals, some of our directors, and a number of our central services staff who offered the various workshops. So you can see some of them pictured here as well. So it was a great day. We do have a survey out right now for staff who attended to be able to give us some feedback. So I'll have that in a future update. A couple other things happening. Construction continues. Even though school is starting tomorrow. So we are getting it done as quickly as we can. The pictures across the top are from Union Ridge Elementary. We're getting very close. You can see kind of there the little arrows pointing to the gravel stop. We went with patriotic blue as our color, so it's going to give a little more contrast there as you drive up to the building. And then you can see where they're laying the insulation, the fiberboard with the hot asphalt, which has to be between 400 and 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Which I didn't put that picture, but they took a picture to show me that it was the appropriate temperature. And then the cap sheet insulation. And then you can see at Ridgefield High School, same thing, it's the cap sheet going up. And the way that it is on that, because it's a fairly flat roof, they are shingling the membrane so that the water will shed off of the building and not pool up and rot the roof like it has done before. And then you can also see where they've raised the parapet where it'll be the new height of the roof. So we are getting close to the end on both of those projects. We will be open for school in both of those sites. We're at a point now where it's final touches and cleanup. And we have worked with the roofing contractors that they will not be doing live work when kids are present. So we are working some different shifts and those kinds of things to get wrapped up. Quick update on elementary number 3. We are kind of in the same place. There's lots happening out at the site. They're currently working on putting in the underground sprinklers for the grass field, and they'll get that planted here fairly quickly, which will be great. Then it'll be ready for kids to play on when we open in a year. Also, foundation has gone in, so it doesn't look like a lot when you drive by, but there's actually a lot of things happening at the foundation level, so at the ground level. So we're pretty excited. They are meeting all of their timelines, which has been great. And then I wanted to share some more information. We've been talking about the cell phone issue, and as you heard from some of the comments tonight, staff are talking about it as well, but I wanted to share just some additional information around pending the board policy update. And there's been some local media coverage. You may have seen the article in the paper. Several regional districts are looking at going to cell phone bans. Pretty much all schools have some sort of restriction. In our state, Chris Reichdahl, who's the OSPI superintendent, has now issued out a survey to all districts to find out what policies are. And as I shared with you at the last board meeting, folks in that role in other states are actually taking the action of requiring all districts to eliminate cell phones in schools, including our neighbors to the south in the state of Oregon, where the governor took executive action to do that, and also in the state of Texas. But often one of the biggest challenges is the enforcement, right? And so you can see here just a couple of pictures. You know, we're having our silent sustained reading time, but we're actually on our phone, trying to manage the holding of the phones and that people aren't taking the wrong phone. All those kinds of things are happening. So you can see here's just a quote from a teacher around just that struggle of getting compliance. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about Yonder. We just briefly talked about it at the last board meeting. We've talked about it with all of our administrators, and they've done some sharing of information with staff across the district during our in-service days over the last 4 days. And we have a short video just to show you what it looks like.
Educators around the world are seeing the damaging effects of phones on student engagement, social development, and mental health.
Cell phones have been linked to many of the district's recent problems.
Texting, tweeting.
Cases of anxiety and depression.
Bullying, staging fights, and filming fights.
In an effort to crack down on cell phone usage, the district piloted these magnetic locking bags called Yonder.
It's an easy solution for a generation in the midst of a mental health crisis. Yonder is the established leader in creating phone-free schools. For over 10 years, our product and program has allowed students to experience the focus, creativity, and relief that comes from a phone-free school day. As students enter school, they place their phone in their assigned Yonder pouch. They close and secure their pouch, keeping it with them throughout the day. When leaving school, students tap their pouch on an unlocking base to retrieve their phone. Yonder is used by millions of students every day across 26 countries. Our school partners report having more teaching time in the classroom, improved student safety and wellness, better student engagement, student behavior, and academic performance. Creating phone-free schools is a community initiative. Our comprehensive program provides support to our school partners from start to finish with step-by-step guidance, parent communication materials, policy development, and proven expertise to ensure everyone understands the difference a phone-free education can make.
It's amazing to see kids come to school and not have to worry about that phone going off or them being bullied by someone else on social media.
It was kind of annoying at first, but then I saw like the difference between like my old school and this school.
I see more people like interacting rather than being on their phones, like especially at lunchtime and break time.
They are way more engaged, everyone's happier.
It's night and day. I saw kids' faces again.
Put the mic back on here. Hold please, we're getting back to slideshow mode. Okay, so you get to see just a little bit about what it looks like. You can see it's a really easy mechanism to utilize. It is the pouches, the unlocking bases. We have handheld magnets as well that we can get. They do have a nice program of support. They met with our secondary administrators and Dr. Ellis, our Executive Director of Schools and Leadership, last Friday. They've mapped out really about a 4-week timeline to prepare and launch the program and make sure that folks understand how to use them, that everything is here and on site, and that enough communication goes out to both students and families before we move forward. Again, just really the idea is the maximizing of instructional time. And I think what was interesting to me was some of the data from some of the studies that they've done around, I was like, something's floating around. It's the video. Okay. More time spent, positive impact, safety and wellness, positive change in student engagement. And this quote at the bottom, this isn't one of our teachers. This is someone in a district that had already implemented Yonder. It's one of the best initiatives we've undertaken in my 19 years here. it sounded so much to me like the teacher who came from the high school back in June and said, like, this has made the biggest difference in the shortest amount of time in her career, and she's a lifetime teacher. And so I just think folks are really seeing the benefits of having kids' full attention and focus on school and not being drawn into their phones. They did a study of grades. So they took end of course grades, so this would be like semester grades, the year prior to implementing Yonder and then after a year with Yonder, and they looked at the grades across. And when they are talking about success rate, it's a C or better in the class. So this is the percentage of students who got a C or better, all of the grades combined. So you can see a little bit of an increase there at sixth grade, although not all sixth graders are bringing phones to school. But the biggest jumps tend to be in the higher level grades. They also have taken a look at behavioral changes. This study was done specifically on middle school students, 6th through 8th grade. We can see significant decrease in the number of disciplinary incidents that are occurring, having to be investigated during the school day. That is a benefit, obviously, for our students, but also for our teachers who are not having to stop instruction to address these things, and for our building administrators who really want to be out in classrooms focusing on instruction instead of being in their office investigating bullying and harassment claims. The cost is approximately $30 per student. We were able to work with them to get a substantial discount because we do not have a regional representative in this area, so that was super helpful. And they have been really great to work with so far in thinking through our processes and our timelines and just helping us get prepared to be able to launch this. Yep, happy to answer questions.
The handheld magnet piece of that sort of equipment that they offer, is that something that individual teachers could have to unlock their phones in their classroom if they needed it for an assignment during class? Like, what is that for?
There's not enough that we would purchase one for every
teacher, right? Okay.
But there will be some available, so they certainly could be utilized. I think what's important, though, to think about in the conversation is, as we've heard from other staff that have come previously, it's really that my mind gets kind of drawn into the phone, and it takes my brain a while to reshift back to the real world. And so I think we would really want to encourage moving away from phone use as much as possible and utilizing our Chromebooks as much as we can for school activities. But we would have some magnets that could be available for certain purposes. There, you saw in the video, they didn't really point it out and tell you, but you can see in this picture, there's one that's just a wall magnet. So that silver mechanism in the middle, it actually screws off of there. So it's wall mounted, and then basically security would just reinstall them at the end of the day. We would also have one at the main office. So for students who are coming midday, because they might be at Running Start part of the day or Cascadia Tech part of the day, they would stop in at the office to be able to lock up, and or if they're leaving early, to unlock their phone. We really want our students to be checking in at the office anyway when they're coming at off hours. So that will be a way to help manage that as well. The recommendation from the company, and I think from our principals team as well, is that the pouches would be checked out just like a textbook for students. And so they'll be able to keep it with them and be responsible for that item moving forward. We have some other big policies that are before us this evening, but we've had a lot of conversation about them, and so we'll talk a little bit more as we get into the old business. But I also just really wanted to take the opportunity to wish all of our staff, our students, our families a happy first day of school tomorrow. We're so excited to see them all. Our little preschoolers and kindergartners, their first day is next Tuesday, so happy first day of school to them next Tuesday. Our kindergartners and preschoolers have individual family conferences with teachers over the next 3 days. We just really like for our littles to have that good connection and start before they are here for full days of school. So with that, happy to answer or address any other questions from the board.
So with the Yonder, when they check that out, that goes home with them, that stays with them, and then at the end of the school year, they turn it in just like with their Chromebook.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, our Chromebooks right now actually stay with students over a period of years, although now that we've gone to the carts at the elementary, right, so that looks a little different. But right now, students are checked out a device in 5th grade that takes them through the end of 8th grade, and they're checked out another device when they enter high school at 9th grade, and they have that until the end of their senior year. So I think it's yet to be determined whether we would collect the pouches at the end of the year or let kids keep them, but they will be barcoded just like a textbook and checked out to students, so would be an expectation that students keep them in good working order.
Is the district planning on purchasing then for every student, 7th through 12th, or how are you determining which students get the pouches and which do not need them, perhaps?
So it's really a tool to implement the policy that the board has spoken about before, and we would buy enough for all students at the middle school and the high school level with an additional overage, just like we do for any curricular material. We always order some extra for students who may enroll later or potentially for loss that can occur.
Do you have a tentative number on how many that is for an initial investment?
I do, but I don't have it off the top of my head. So I want to say it's about 2,000 total of the pouches. That will include some that will have, instead of the magnetic lock, a Velcro, which for our students who have a documented health plan through a 504. So for example, a diabetic student who's checking their sugars regularly throughout the day. So it looks the same, but they are able to then access their device throughout the day based on that individual plan.
And just like if someone loses their pouch, then they are responsible for the replacement cost.
They are, yes.
Okay.
Just like our laptops and our textbooks and our other things.
And maybe it's too detailed, but what if I forgot my pouch today? I'll just have to keep my cell phone with me.
Yes, so our principals are working through what that's going to look like in terms of disciplinary reminders and consequences. Personally, I would think it would be a lot more having to remind and address, where with the pouches, they're locked, and it just eliminates that. I think it's going to be particularly challenging at lunchtime to monitor effectively and implement the policy until we're able to have the pouches in place. So it's probably going to be a significant amount of our administrators' time initially.
I have 2 more questions that I just thought of. The $30 per student that you said is a huge discount, is that the discounted price? Or because we're kind of a pilot, or is that the pre-discounted price?
That's their average.
That's the average,
price
so that's not
across
what we're
their system.
necessarily paying.
Yeah, because they were willing to partner with us to help kind of show what this could look like, we were able to work out a contract with them.
That's less than that.
Part of that agreement is that we don't disclose what we paid, because as they work with other districts, they're not going to give them the deal that we got.
With the pilot, you get the perks.
Yes.
I guess I don't think it was addressed during the videos, and I am just curious. When the kids put the phone into the pouch, does the pouch block the phone from working or anything, or do they have to turn it off before they put it in, or as they turn it in?
They have to turn it off or put it onto airplane mode.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'd be a part of training students, just like we do with all of our behavioral expectations, especially at the start of the year. In terms of like turning it off for airplane mode, then putting it in the pouch, then locking it and putting it away in your backpack.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Takes us to board communication. Donna.
I don't have a report. I just want to welcome everybody back for tomorrow. It's exciting. School has finally begun.
Amanda.
Yeah, the summer went very fast. I just wanted to thank everyone for convocation, and I was able to do the flag salute and didn't screw it up, so I was excited about that. Yeah, I know there's a lot of conversation in the community about a lot of the things we're addressing tonight, so we love to hear from you. I haven't gotten any emails about anything, just saying. So I know there's social media chatter, but then there's talking to us too. Don't be afraid to send us messages.
Amber.
Thank you. I'll echo that as well. So just want to encourage again, as we are transitioning into a big shift for families of going back to school, there's definitely, I'm sure, anxiety for the kiddos. And then also, I know as a parent, there's always just a little bit of nervousness in our household as we transition back from super unstructured part of life to a hyper structured part of life. So just encourage parents, families, anybody out there to reach out if you have questions or concerns or celebrations to share with us. Always happy to engage and listen and get together to chat too. Speaking of, I will be starting some kind of, I don't really want to call it office hours, but time to connect with me one-on-one or in groups if people would like to now that the school year is starting again. I've historically done coffee in the mornings. I might switch to walking around the track at the middle school in the evening. So thinking about what I will do this year, but we'll announce next time what my plan and schedule is for that. Convocation was really exciting and wonderful to be a part of. It was great to see all of our educators and staff back together and just feel honored to get to be a part of that fun celebratory day. I wanted to just share back with you all also hearing a little bit of concern and question about water and water faucets again. So thinking it might be worth a re-communication around that. I know we did a lot of communicating last year about the water faucets and the plan for that, but it may be worth another review of the timeline for getting everything fixed because I know that's been a high priority and work that has been going on for a long time. And I think, yeah, that's all from me. It's been fun to be around for orientations and back to school nights and seeing everybody back together.
Thank you. Yep, I apologize. I was not at convocation. I was out of town, but that is an exciting kickoff for the year. So appreciate the district putting that together and getting everybody hard charging for the start of the year. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. That takes us to old business.
Okay, we have a number of items this evening. So the first one is item 8A, approving revised board policy number 1400, meeting conduct, order of business, and quorum. This has not been updated since December of 2019. The WASDA model policy was updated in June of 2022, and at that time they combined policy 1400 and 1430 together. This update brings us current with the WASDA model policy, including the merging of the information that previously was in policy number 1430. We recommend approval of the revised board policy 1400, meeting conduct, order of business, and quorum.
I move that we approve item 8A as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Item 8B is for approval of revised board policy number 1450, absence of a board member. This one has not been updated since October of 2007. And so we've brought it current as well. And as you heard this evening, when we have board member absences, then our board president will just be announcing the reason for the excused absence. So again, recommending approval of revised board policy number 1450, absence of a board member.
I move that we approve item 8B as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Danny, it's second read, right? On this? Okay, just want to make sure. Item 8C is to approve new board policy number 3112, social emotional climate. We talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. This has not been in place here in Ridgefield School District, but it really is a companion policy to our revised student discipline policy. So we're recommending adoption of policy 3112, social emotional climate.
I move that we approve item 8C as presented.
I second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say I appreciate the addition of this policy and the work that's been going on to try to improve student experience and our campuses, particularly around bullying. I know that's been a conversation ongoing, and our purview is policy, so whatever tools that we can bring to help support that work in the buildings, I feel like is great, and I am in support of this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, that takes us to item 8D, which is approval of revised board policy number 3122, excused and unexcused absences. Feels like we talk about this a lot. We updated it in September of 2024, and here we are back again after in-depth discussion with our principals, assistant principals team, feedback from the board, comments that you all have heard from community members and parents. We have made some additional revisions to the district policy to ensure consistency across all of our campuses, preschool through 12th grade, and try to make clear the process for excusing absences. We also, as part of the revised procedure, which is not before the board but will go into effect after, should the board choose to approve this, with a cleanup of our attendance code, so it's very clearly shows what's excused or not, the reasons there, and it will be the same set of codes at every single campus. So we have already done some pre-training with our administrators and with our building secretaries, with the hope that the board will approve this policy as presented.
I move that we approve item 8D as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? I'd like just to say that, you know, with some policies, it's trial and error, and you try it and see what works and see what doesn't, and you have to revise it and keep working with it, and that's why, you know, as long as we're keeping focus on what's best for kids, families, and teachers, and trying to find cohesiveness within that, we'll keep revising this as much as needed until we get it right. So, any other discussion?
I was just gonna say, I feel like we are getting closer to being able to be responsive and find some consensus on this topic. I know it's been an ongoing conversation since I've been on the board, so I feel like this is a good one. We're getting there.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item 8E, which is second read of revised board policy number 3241, student discipline. The policy is rather short. The procedure is quite lengthy that goes with it. This has not been updated since August of 2019, pre-COVID, and there have been a lot of revisions made to the WASDA model policy. There's been a variety of changes in the law, in the WACs as well, and so we have worked again with our building leaders, our district leadership team, and the board of directors during our retreat at the end of July. The revised policy does align to WASDA model policy. In addition, we have put together a form with a discipline matrix. So just like the attendance, the codes are really clear what the consequences are that are permissible under state law. And that will also be published on the website so that folks have access to that information as well. Recommending approval of revised school board policy number 3241, student discipline.
I move that we approve item 8E as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and that takes us to the hot topic of the evening, item 8F, which is approval of revised board policy number 3245, students and telecommunication personal devices. Again, this is the second read. This has not been updated since April of 2018, at which time it still referenced pagers. So we're a little out of date. There's been a lot of discussion, as we've already talked about this evening, at even the national level, the state level, and the local level, and within our community around the district cell phone policy. A reminder that last year we had a group of teachers from Ridgefield High School in View Ridge that did a book study on The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, which we've recommended out for families and community members. And I know some of the board, some of you are already in the process of listening or reading that book. It really is excellent. And that group of staff came and presented to you in June with their ask that we do even more because they saw the benefits of what they did implement last year. We've continued to discuss it. We sent a survey out and we shared that data with you at the last board meeting. It was extensive. We had 1,200 responses from our community, which is the most we've had on any survey. And the majority recommendation at the elementary level was no personal electronic devices. I did want to share, I spoke with a kindergarten teacher at Convocation, and I hadn't thought about it because I'm not a big tracker of children, but she recommended the Apple AirTags. So moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas that are worried about your kid getting lost walking home, Apple AirTag and tie it to their shoes or put it in their backpack. So I think that's a great way to be able to track geographical location of your child without opening up all the things that come with other personal electronic devices. And then the other recommendation from the community survey, the majority opinion at middle and high school was off and away all day, including lunches and passing periods. So recommending this evening that the board approve revised board policy number 3245, students and telecommunication devices.
I move that we approve item 8F as presented.
I second.
Any discussion?
So I would like to say that just like the absence policy, this is a good starting point, and there will be bugs and there will be fixes. But I think we need to start somewhere, and I appreciate that, you know, in some classes they do need their cell phones, and I'm sure accommodations can be made.
I want to say that I think that this is, I wasn't here at the last board meeting, but I was able to listen to the meeting and the presentation. Appreciate that there were so many people who engaged with feedback, and I know that there is not 100% consensus on exactly how to move forward. When I look at the policy that we are considering, to me, this policy feels good and in the interest of learning for young people in our buildings. I will also say that the implementation of any policy, this one in particular, seems very challenging, and I just wish folks luck who are responsible for that. And I know navigating that is not simple, however it rolls out. The policy language to me does reflect what the majority input was, based on the survey, and the research that's out there. The logistics of implementation, again, I won't say glad, but I'm okay that that's not my job right now. But I do think this policy work for the district is a good step forward. So I also have faith and do trust our leadership in the district to be able to navigate through this process with students, with educators, with families. And it is a community conversation for us to be having and to continue to have, because our phones do impact our lives in major ways. As an adult working professionally in the world, it is a thing that is always within 3 feet, right? So I just want to thank everyone for engaging, mostly for engaging with us around the conversation.
Yes, this is not going to be easy. I have no doubt. But typically doing the right thing isn't always easy. It's finding a way to still get your job done, but not maybe with that tool that you had before. That's going to take professionalism and take work, and it's going to take everybody for the good of the student, and that's what we're really getting back to is what's best for kids and their educational time that they have and that's my first focus is eliminate the distraction. Cell phones are great tools, but they're great distractions. And as far as the money, I appreciate you asking. $30 per student is a cheap investment in my book. Like, we buy T-shirts or things to boost morale and celebrate those ways. This is the best investment that I can see that we can put that will impact them socially. I see kids not engaging, and it makes me sad. And they don't have to engage when they have something that is thinking for them, stimulating them, and it's not people, it's a device. So it's going to be hard. It is drastic. It is, but I feel like it's a hard one to ease into. I think we need to go at it aggressively and work our way through it. And then, like Donna said, if we need to adopt, if it's not working, we can recognize that, but we have to try. We have to try. We want to hear the feedback. We want to know, is this working the way we thought it was going to? And I hope that it's, after a little bit of time, it's so much better. We're getting so much more engagement. And I recognize that it will affect some grades, some teachers, some people more than others. And that's unfortunate, but again, I think as a board, we recognize that we can't kick the ball down the road any longer. We have to do something that has to be aggressive, and we got to take the feedback that comes back with that, good, bad, whatever. So that's all I got on that. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that will take us to new business, which we have none. Executive session,
Not this evening.
we have none. So with that being said, we are adjourned. Thank you. Not bad.